What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Social Media Mindset Podcast. And I don't say this enough, but if you listen to this, would you please just do me a favor and go leave a review? I hate even saying this, but guys, this is the world we live in, right? We live in the world where if there are not people saying good things about you online, it tarnishes the referral opportunities we have. It's just the reality. And so please do that for me so people don't think I'm a loser with, tons of episodes and no reviews. So I love you guys for doing that. But enough of that. Let's get in to this episode because, guys, I'm pumped. And here's why I'm pumped, because the gentleman that I have on this episode, I found him on Inman.com. And though I like to think that I'm cool because I've written like 8 articles on Inman, this guy has written at least a bajillion. And so he is entrenched in the community of Inman as a contributor. He is always on the top page. Every time I go to Inman, something he's written is along the top. And so, guys, I want you to welcome into the Social Media Mindset studio, Jimmy Burgess, who is the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Beach Properties of Florida. And guys, if that doesn't mean anything to you, let me also just say this. If it matters, they only did 2.1 billion in sales last year. And, no big deal. I know that's what you did. You did that too. So that's not very cool. But Jimmy, man, welcome to the show.
Kyle, I really appreciate it. Since you said we did 2.1, let me brag on my agents. We've got Please. 250 agents. Our average agent with 250 agents, our average agent's production is $8.5 million. So we've got some amazing folks. And man, I'm really looking forward to sharing some of the things that we're doing here locally in Northwest Florida that I know can apply in other places as well.
Heck yeah, man. And so let's just jump in. And I want to just start here because my favorite thing on the planet is video. Video content to me is the most powerful thing out there. It's the most multi-purposed. You can do so much from it. And honestly, it's the closest you and I can get to being belly to belly, right? Right now, as we record this episode, I can see you, you can see me. And the beauty of it is whenever we meet in person, which we will one day, we're not going to shake hands as strangers. If COVID allows, we're going to hug each other as brothers because
man. I'm telling you,
and I am too, because we're spending this direct time with one another because of the power of video. So talk to me about like, how do you coach and encourage your 250 agents to show up on video? What struggles do you see? Like, let's just start unpacking that.
Yeah, Kyle, this is a perfect segue into everything because in reality, you mentioned it, you read the article, but what's great about some of the articles in Inman is it has a video at the top, which I think is, for me, I click the video. I typically don't read. But when we're thinking about that, you said, it's the power of words. Well, words are one thing, but then you have photos and, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, then if you look at video, it is frame after frame after picture. So it's worth millions of words. It has the ability really to connect people. We call them OKPs. Our agents, everybody's different. The person that I'm going to work with, our OKP, our kind of people, is going to be different than it is for you. You know what I mean? And so reality, what video does, it acts as a filter. It gives us the ability for those people that we're supposed to connect with. It gives us a way to connect with them in a personal level. I don't know how many agents, and I know you've had this, I've had it, where literally we'll meet people and they'll say, I feel like I know you. Well, we're in the know, like, trust business. And what video does is it moves them through that to the place where they trust us because they hear our passion. They see what we like to do. The biggest struggle most agents have is just getting started. And it's just like everything else. It's going to be awkward at the beginning. It's going to be. It just is. I've purposely kept up. We're over 300 videos on my YouTube channel. I purposely kept up those first few videos. Every fiber of my being wants to go take those things down because it's so bad. But but every single time an agent comes in, I point them to that and I say, let me show you what this looked like 300 episodes ago. Let me show you what 300 videos will do, how far you can come. Wow. And really, I tell agents that, listen, if you're comfortable right now, which a lot of agents are because the market's been good, if you're comfortable, you're not growing. Growth and comfort cannot coexist. So if you're at a place where you're wanting to grow your business, grow yourself, I can't fathom anything that can impact your business more than video content right now.
Absolutely. And so you said most agents' problem is their ability to start.
That's it.
So I'm a new agent with BHHS, Beach Properties of Florida. And guys, that's not an announcement. This is a hypothetical situation. So don't go freaking out. I'm not moving to Florida. But if I'm a new agent,
everybody else is. Come on, man.
That's true. Well, I'm in Texas where everyone else is also moving.
That's true. That's
so,
true.
You know, maybe I just need to own property in both places. But I'm a new agent with you, and so you know the value of this. What is the way that you're going to coach me, knowing I'm going to struggle to start? Is there a certain video that you say, okay, do this first, do this first? Like, what does that process look like?
Okay, so look. Typically, when I'm doing videos like now, I'm looking into the camera. I want to speak to people. But what we will do with our first videos is typically I will bring them in and we'll just turn the camera on. The intimidating thing is when somebody goes 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll just set the camera up. And what we do is we try to make it more of a conversation. You've probably seen some of these videos where we'll set the camera up over here. So if I'm doing this, I'm talking to you, Kyle. Right. Instead of to the camera. And so I'm sitting here and literally the camera's rolling and somebody else, whoever the camera person is, they will say, tell me about why you love real estate. And then they'll just talk about why they love real estate to that person, not to the camera. Yeah. It gives them to start with a comfort level. I love it. It's reps. What is it that you can do to get past that? And then ultimately what we do is we just begin to slide those people in closer to the camera. And then ultimately say, hey, listen, instead of answering it, talking to me, look in that camera. And ultimately that just leads them into getting a little more comfortable. I love that. So, and what's
so you say you slowly kind of work them in. Is that over the course of 10 minutes, over the course of a week of doing this? Like, what does that timeline look like?
It absolutely depends on the individual. Okay. There are certain people when we do it, and I mean, you've seen them. There's certain people when the lights come on, they come on. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then there's certain people that when the lights come on, they just struggle. And so, but that's fine. To be perfectly frank, the person that's a little awkward on video is probably going to draw people that are like them that don't want to be on video. 100%. So it's really just being authentic. Don't come on and try to be like Kyle or like me or somebody else that you've seen. Be yourself, because that authenticity is what's truly going to drive those people to you. To get over this, I would just say, just do reps. Listen, I love BombBomb. I don't know if you're familiar, BombBomb with the video emails. That's the best training tool, because I've done, I say I've done 300 videos that are on our YouTube channel, but I've got over 2,500 video emails I've sent to people. So when you do that many, you just get comfortable. It just becomes second nature. And 100%. When the light comes on, it doesn't seem unnatural. So if you're wanting to do that, start with doing these things with your family and friends. Get something like BombBomb, or record your screen on Zoom. You can do that for free now. Yeah. Record your screen on Zoom and talk to someone about a contract that you're in the corner. Go over a unsolicited, CMA of somebody's house with sharing the details that are on your screen. Practice makes perfect. Just start taking the reps, and all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're like, wow, that was pretty easy. Yeah, man, it's so good. Dad, do you use when I'm coaching an agent, I love using the app Marco Polo. Are you familiar with? So Marco Polo is video walkie-talkie. Really? And so what's amazing with it is very similar to what you've already explained, because they already know this is just me and Kyle. This is just me and Jimmy. Right. They've already let a ton of that fear go, and they already know that this is private conversation. This is never going on the internet anywhere. Yeah. I watch so many people have breakthroughs with video, because in their brain, they're really not doing video. Right. They're just talking to Kyle into a screen. Right. And so I would make people like, do not text me. Right. Do not call me. You're going to send me videos through Marco Polo. Mm-hmm. And it's an unbelievable tool to just communicate in general, but also to just kind of work out those nerves and get those reps in, like you just said. And let me say this, Kyle, if somebody's out there and they're wanting to grow their real estate business and they're not doing video yet, you have to. I mean, whether you're comfortable or not, you have to get comfortable with it. Listen, I'm not saying you can't do it, because you can do this real estate business without it, but you can do it way better with it. There was that study that Cisco came out with that 83% of all internet traffic is going to be video based this year. Yep. Which is up dramatically. That's not going to slow down. So
Right.
our ability to be able to communicate, storytell, connect through video is going to be, in my opinion, over the next 5 years, will be the most critical skill that people can actually create as far as a marketing skill for the real estate.
I totally agree. As soon as we finish this recording, I'm driving to the other side of town to teach a class.
Mhm.
And one of the data points that I pulled for it was that last year, 49% of businesses grew faster in revenue than using video than the ones that didn't.
I'd love for you to send me that stat, because
I'll send you the whole article that I got it
please
from.
do. Please
it's
do.
135 different statistics.
Oh yeah, please send that to me, because I the thing is you and I don't have time to go find these, to do these statistics or do this study, but we know that that it's true. You know what I mean? I don't have a single agent that went all in on video last year that their business didn't double in our personal market.
Wow.
So from that standpoint, I know that if I can get them to begin to, and everything's different. I've got agents that it's just documenting their journey. You know what I mean? And it's using Instagram stories. I've got some that just went all in on Instagram reels and short form video I got friends of mine that are killing it on TikTok, which seems crazy.
Right.
But there I am at home flipping through and sending TikToks to my wife at night. You know what I mean? So it's one of those where it's like, it's changing the landscape. And so to think that it's not going to become more and more prevalent would be naive, in my opinion.
I agree. And I want to pick your brain about, so I want you to think about your toughest cookie, right? The agent, we don't need their name, maybe they'll listen, but I want you to think back to the agent that gave you the most trouble trying to break through with doing video, and tell us the story of why they struggled the most, and then what led to their ultimate breakthrough.
All right. While I'm telling the story, I'm going to pull this email up I got last night. Okay. So I have an agent that, she thinks that she's like, oh my gosh, my hair, my voice, I just don't look good on video. And I don't like the way I look. I don't like how everything is presented. And she finally took the plunge last year. She actually took it, and like everybody, the first few were a little awkward, but the next thing she did was she actually came in and began to shoot videos where she was actually spending some time with some of the people in the community. She went and found, for us, we're in a coastal market, the rental management company that she did a lot of work with to talk about the investment side. She met with her husband, who's a contractor, and talked about 4 or 5 things they could do. She began to put this content out there, and she began to get more and more comfortable. Well, all of a sudden she did a video on one of the neighborhoods that she works in. And she sent me this. I can't find it right here. I'm going to paraphrase this. She sent me an email last night, which was, she forwarded me the email from the client and said, Teresa, I just want you to know that I saw your video about this case, watercolor community. And I immediately knew by the tone in your voice and the way you talked that you were our realtor before we even stepped foot down here. We're coming into town. We have a budget of $2.5 million and we'll be there in 2 weeks. Cash, straight up cash, homie. Cash money, $2.5 million client from a video. Now, let me say this. That person was looking and searching before they came here, which is what everybody does now.
Right.
She shot one video about that community, really not knowing as much. A little bit I taught her on how to make sure she got all of her tagging right and the titling and those things. Posted it on YouTube and ended up, now she's got a brand new client that she's never met before that's emailed her and said, you're my person. I got to, and I'm coming with cash, and I'm coming in a big way.
And
so
roughly,
that was in, I literally read that 5 hours ago.
What's the commission going to be on a $2.5 million sell?
Gross commission is going to be about 62.5, 2.5%. So she's
just for getting over
what
you look like, the way you think you sound.
Absolutely.
And realizing that people care.
Let me tell you the power of this. Also, I'm gonna give you another example, Kyle. Okay. I mean, sometimes I think we can talk about this, but until you hear this, just these examples.
Yeah.
I have another agent that doesn't like to be on video, would not be on video herself, but she had a client that wanted to see this new construction community that only had 3 houses started. She went out there and she didn't face it towards her, and she just did a pan video on her phone. She couldn't, because she ended up being on there for over a minute. She couldn't somehow get it to text to her people. So she loaded it up onto YouTube, a YouTube channel that did not have any. She created a YouTube channel. She just put on there overview of the community for her client, no description, anything.
Oh my gosh.
She sent the link to her client, and 3 weeks later, she gets a call out of the blue and says, hey, I happened to find a video you did on this community in Point Washington. Can you tell me about it? And she sold her a $400,000 house.
Golly.
Let me tell you this. She got over her fear of video real quick after that. We then started doing community videos, and she's been killing it, getting organic traffic, doing it that way.
And Jimmy, the reason I love this is, if we used a baseball analogy, right, we would tell a baseball player, you're going to get more hits the more bats you get.
Yeah.
The more pitches you see, you're naturally going to get more hits. Yeah. And I just think for some reason, what the average realtor doesn't understand is every time we put a video out into the world, we're giving ourselves the opportunity for a hit.
Yes. And the thing is it's taking swings while you're sleeping, to use the analogy.
100%.
It is working if you aren't working. So from that standpoint, it is absolutely, you don't know the impact of what a video can do 5, 6, 7 years from now. That's what I'm excited about. I mean, that's the thing. And I think people get overly, be patient with this. I'll use my channel, for example. And I'm sure you've got a ton of these examples. When I first started, most of mine is real estate agent, because we're helping our agents grow. But from that standpoint, it took me 14 months to get my first 100 subscribers. Now we're running 600, 700 a month that are subscribers. But what it was the consistency.
Right.
And now there's this book of these out there. So it's another one of these. I say video is like farming. It comes down to being consistent, adding value, and being there when the person needs or thinks they need your services. So video gives you the ability where we're going to send a mail. I'm going to use farming example. We're going to send a mailer. We're going to do whatever we're doing in that community on a consistent basis. We know that we need to wait at least 9 months to see what we're going to do as far as results in that neighborhood, because the consistency compounds over time. It's the same way with video. If you think you're going to post your first video and you're going to have this, we just talked about 2 lightning in a bottle situations. They happen.
Yep.
But the one that just happened, she shot that video back last May, and she just got that email yesterday. So you got to understand it's constantly working, and be patient that over time it's going to continue to compound.
Man, it's so good. We could end this episode right now, and it'd be my shortest episode of the whole thing, but probably the most impactful. But we're not, guys. Don't worry. We're not. Spoiler alert. We're not stopping yet, because I want to ask you about. So we've talked about just the initial fear of video. We've talked about the power of video being that it works for us while we're not working, or whether we're working somewhere else.
Right.
But then the next thing that I hear the most, that I know you hear the most, is, man, I'm willing to do video, but like, what am I supposed to talk about?
Yep. Easy.
So how do you break that down?
Oh, this is so great. We live in an amazing world. So if you wanted to, you can go right now, and I'm just going to use this as an example. Where are you in Texas now?
I'm in Fort Worth.
So let's say that I wanted to go, and I went to YouTube right now, and I did Dallas Fort Worth real estate in the search bar. It's going to come up with a group of videos, and probably there's going to be 1 or 2 people that are doing it well in that's a realtor that's doing it well there. Let me tell you how you do this. You find 5 or 6 markets. You find 5 or 6 people that sound like you, think like you, present like you, in these different markets that have already created this wheel. So you're at a place where now you just you don't have to recreate it.
Right.
Go onto their channel, go to videos, and then go to sort by most popular. If it comes up and it says five things to know before you move to Fort Worth, whatever your city is, your next video should be 5 things to know before you move to whatever your city is. It will work in yours as well. So don't overthink this. Find other agents that are already doing it, model it after what they're doing, because the content that pops for them is going to pop for you as well.
I love that, Jimmy. I love that. So how do we, because like I used to be a pastor, and so I'm a pretty big fan of scripture, and it talks about in scripture that, comparison is the thief of all joy. And so, as we coach realtors to go watch other people, go see what they're doing, as we say, Go find those that kind of look like you, sound like you, imitate the way you would do something. They're naturally, because we're all humans and we're all broken and jacked up and flawed and messed up and all those words we want to say. We're all still naturally going to go, but look how many views that has. Mine's not going to get that many. Look how good his hair looks. I don't have hair like that. Look at that dress she's wearing. How have you, as you've done thousands and thousands of videos, over 300 videos on a YouTube channel, how do you constantly fight against comparing yourself to everybody else?
Insecurity is the thief of success. It will absolutely, your insecurity. Listen, I'll go that way with you. I'm just going to tell you right now, if you're going to be all you're created to be, then it is absolutely going to be you being you, not you being imitating someone else.
100%.
When I said that about going and finding that title, I didn't talk about how they did it. I'm just saying use the title.
Yeah.
And then use it in your voice. Obviously the 5 things are going to be different in Fort Worth than they are in Santa Rosa Beach or in Destin or in Panama City where I'm at. So from that standpoint, absolutely go out there. We're also looking at it from a standpoint, you have to understand where you are. And let me say this, if you really want to get a kick out of that, go back and look at those folks' first videos.
Yeah.
You feel real good about yourself, probably. You know what I mean? So, but the biggest thing is look, people moving to your area or selling in your area for that instance, both sides, they're asking the same questions. I always said, if you're looking for your first 5 topics for your video, for your clients, think of it as a way that you were going out and you were creating a web page, or you were creating your website and you were going to have a page on that website that was your frequently asked questions. What would those 5 questions be?
I love
That's
that.
your first 5 videos, because those things that you answer all the time, what can I expect in an inspection process? How soon should I start working on my financing before I'm ready? What are 5 things I can do to impact the value of my house when I'm getting ready to list it? Whatever it is that you get asked all the time, that's your video, and it's just a simple, hey, this is a question I get asked a lot. And then you just go right into it.
I love it. And to extend from that, if we're coaching realtors to get very entrenched into their local community, what are some video ideas that you work with your realtors on to just get them deeply seated into the area they live, which they ultimately want to sell?
Absolutely. Yeah. So a couple of things, there's the whole idea of that I call of shining the light off of you and onto the heroes in the community.
Yeah.
So what we like to do is, and I'm going to go a couple different routes with this.
Cool.
The typical stuff that we would do, I'm going to get back to that in just a second. The typical stuff we would do is like top 5 neighborhoods for whatever, I mean, in this area. Okay.
Yeah.
And we would give a little highlight there, and we're driving traffic back to a website. If you want to see photos and details of houses here, go here. And what we're doing, just a little pro tip there, we'll go by the URL basically for that neighborhood. So I'm going to use this as an example, watersoundcondos.forsale.com. And then we point it to in our case, Boomtown website or whatever website you got where they see 4 pictures and gives them an opportunity to opt in. So we're doing that, but we're driving traffic and giving that next thing. So we'll do the 5 communities. We do the spotlights on the business owners where we're coming in and we're talking about, hey, one of my favorite places to eat lunch is this. Today I'm with the owner of this, and we're going to talk about their most famous dish or whatever it is. We're going to talk about how they got started. Then it's going to be, we're going to do some videos that we're going to talk about, hey, like for us on the beach, it's like 5 places to see the sunset, best place to see the sunset on the beach. It is, 3 great date night restaurants for that night that you and your wife need to meet together.
I love
those types of things. They don't really have a lot to do with real estate, but then they have at the end a subtle, reminder. In the beginning, it's pretty simple. It's like, hey, I'm Jimmy Burgess with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Beach Properties in Florida. Today, I want to share with you my 3 favorite places for a date night when you got that night that you can get away from the kids or whatever it is. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's subtle, but I'm giving value. And I call it edumatainment. You want to educate and entertain. And so if you're doing that, if you're doing both of those things, I promise you're going to find your people.
I love it. So good. And so we've broken down a lot of these barriers. So, I mean, really, if somebody's listening right now and you don't feel like you can do a video, what is wrong with you? Like,
take action.
You've been given plenty of knowledge from Jimmy in the last 20 plus minutes, but let's kind of begin to land the plane with, we're assuming people are now creating videos, and we obviously want to maximize the opportunities that those videos present. Right. And so, are you breaking videos down into other videos? Do you put some videos on YouTube, but some go to Facebook, but some go to, like, how do you kind of decide like what that looks like?
So this is, Kyle, I think this is critically important. One video really creates multiple pieces of content for us, it's the ability to compound that content. And listen, I've got an in-house videographer that now, we didn't start out that way. Yeah. But gosh, you got content compound in your company that, can take and break some of these things down. I know if people want more about that, they can reach out to you.
Sure.
There's options there. But the biggest thing is you've got to understand, I'm gonna give you my process. So yes, we shoot one video. And what I will typically do, I don't have one here, is I will have 3 or 4 videos in mind that I'm going to shoot that morning. And if you don't have a videographer, listen, every church or a lot of churches have young people that are doing that. Yeah. Your local high school has somebody that does their morning show every time. Interns, we brought 3 videography interns in from Florida State for us one summer. And I love it. We just, we killed content that summer, so there are ways to find lower costs. If you're going to, if you want to go high end, they're absolutely there and you get the best of the best. I would suggest scrolling up to that. We shoot one video. When I shoot that video, then that is edited and it is put on YouTube. We also take that, and we'll do it sometimes. I've been trying to drive traffic to YouTube because I'm just trying to grow that audience. Yeah. But if you're posting it to social media and you want the most traffic, don't post the YouTube link, post the video directly to that, because they get you way more organic traffic. Think of it this way. Facebook, I'm going to use Facebook as an example. They want people to stay on Facebook. If you put a YouTube link in, they're going to kill your organic traffic because they know that's people bouncing off of there. So make sure you're uploading it there. Then we have another editor that rips the audio for me, makes it into the Real Estate Sales Podcast that we've now got 100 episodes of. Wow. So we're taking that audio directly from the video, putting a little bit of a new intro on it. Yep. And that's all I do is just I've got one intro that we've got that I recorded one time, and the editor just puts that in there with the regular intro on the video, makes that then now a podcast. So I'm getting people all, that are listening, that aren't watching. And then I take on Sunday afternoons, I come home, I typically try to put together 2 of the videos that we've done in the last few weeks that have done fairly well. I will paraphrase them into 1,100 to 1,400 word articles, and we post then that same content in a different format, written format, on Inman the next week. So we're compounding one piece of one, literally for now, going out there and shooting a 10-minute video takes us 15 minutes. We're taking that 1 15-minute segment and ripping it into, everybody listens differently. When I'm at the gym, I'm listening on Audible. When I'm in my car, I'm listening on Audible. If I'm literally at home looking at videos, I'm watching YouTube. If I'm at my office, I'm looking on Inman or another news website. So I want to make sure that we give the opportunity for people to consume our content in a way that is best for them and that they prefer to be there. So, but that's that one piece of content. And I know y'all do some great stuff, and we've done it too, where we'll take a longer piece of content, we'll trim out one portion, we'll use that on like Instagram to drive them to the main content. So that's a great way to really compound exactly what you're doing.
It's huge, man. I love it. And you've provided so much value in this episode, which I knew you would, because I've read your stuff on Inman for a long time. And so how do people connect to you that want to follow what you guys are doing? We'll put this all in the show notes. Tell us that.
Absolutely. YouTube is kind of driving everything right now, but if you just go on YouTube and you look up Jimmy Burgess, you'll find us there. Okay. Also the Real Estate Sales Podcast. And then, you can reach me on Instagram. I've really just started focusing a little more on Instagram. I did not for a while, but I'm really, really trying to focus on that as well. And that's, so if you're reaching out to me, private messaging me on Instagram is a great way to do it. So
that's how we got connected.
That's exactly right. We did. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So man, thank you for being stuff. You. Thank you for leading the charge the way you are in this ever-changing industry. This has been an unbelievable episode.
Oh man, Kyle, I appreciate all you're doing for all of us out there in the community. As I always say, we're all better together, and we've never had a more opportune time for us to share with each other and help each other grow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, thank you for listening to another episode of the Social Media Mindset Podcast. Go follow Jimmy. Go check out what he's doing. Get your butts on video, and we'll see you back real soon with another cool person with an even cooler story. See ya.